Welcome back to the Fantasy Golf Sommelier. I am here again, and this week it's the Fortinet Championship. And guess where we are? We're in beautiful Napa Valley. Napa Valley. You know what's in Napa? A lot of really good wine. A lot of really good wine for many reasons, I'll talk about that in a little bit, why Napa is so good for wine. And I'm going to talk about what I'm drinking tonight. I'm actually drinking, it's called Obsidian Ridge. It's a Cabernet from the Napa region. Actually, it's way up there in the air. 2,640 feet elevation is where this vineyard is. And you got some volcanic origins here to this wine. It's very good. It's fantastic, actually. Good Cabernet. Not too expensive, which is what we like. But let's talk about the plays of the week first. Okay, we got to talk about the plays of the week. And I'm going to start with the price like a Sutter Home plays like a Camus play of the week. And for me, that is going to be Hudson Swafford at 7,200. Look, here's the thing. Hudson Swafford is a pretty damn good golfer. Okay, and we're getting him for 7,200. That's really cheap. He's won on tour before. He's a proven winner. He's playing well recently. I mean, you look at his last two starts, he has a T17 and a T11. That's not too bad. Okay, he's going to be pretty low owned. I like that. He's got decent history here, which isn't, it's not great, but it's decent. He's made the cut all three times that he's played here in the last 5 years. And then if you look at the stats, he is 26 in the field in ball striking. He's top 10 off the tee. He's top 15 in birdie or better percentage, which is huge. There's going to be a lot of scoring this week at Silverado Country Club, the North Course. And you know what? They're going to have to make a lot of birdies. And he does that. Checks the box in birdie or better percentage. And POA greens this week. POA bent, whatever you want to say. It's a little mix or whatever, but they're going to putt like POA. And POA is his best surface when you look historically for Hudson Swafford. So I'm going to give him 92 points this week, and he is going to be the price like a Sutter Home, plays like a Camus play of the week. Now, let me get a little sip of my wine. Very excited this week. I'm excited to be back. I'm excited that we're in Napa, and this is really the first time I've been able to film the Fantasy Golf Sommelier when they're in wine country, which I think is cool. You may ask yourself, though, what makes Napa so good for wine? Well, there's a lot of reasons. The weather is good. It's dry for a lot of for long periods of time, which is good for wine. If you didn't know that, the terrain, the soil, those kind of things, that's really good for wine. You got to have the right kind of soil. And, I think that, outside of like soil and climate and that kind of thing, because you kind of get warm summers, but not like terribly hot. And then you get pretty mild winters. And that's really good for the grapes, for growing some grapes. Okay. So, that's really what you see with some Napa wine and why one of the reasons that it's good. Now, let's move on to the Boone's Farm Vintage Fade of the Week. And for me, it's Mito Pereira, something like that. He's at $8,000 on DraftKings. Now, look, this is kind of like the reverse pop the cork, because I did mention him on the podcast that I like him, but I don't like him where I'm seeing the ownership. I mean, he's upwards over 20%. No, I don't want to play Mito at the second or third highest owned player. Not all about that. I think that's just too high for him. I get why he's getting the hype. He's been in pretty good recent form, even though he missed his last cut on tour, which was the Wyndham Championship. But he did have a top 10 before that. If you look at the stats, though, I mean, he's 66 in the field in fairways gained. So not terribly accurate off the tee. He's 46 in the approach. Okay, that's decent, but not great. Not for a guy that's going to be over 20% owned. And he's not really a great putter when you just look historically or statistically over his most recent rounds. So I don't really like that as well. I think you're going to have to be, have a good putting week on these greens. They're very undulating. They've got a lot of slope. They're very quick. So I'm giving Mito 81 points. All right. I just don't like the ownership, and he's going to be the Boone's Farm fade of the week. Now, let's move on to the pop the cork play before we get into a little bit of wine talk, and then we'll finish things up. Okay, so we got the pop the cork play of the week, and that's going to be Siwoo Kim. Woo! Siwoo 9,300. Here's the thing. I didn't even talk about it on the show. I can't even believe that I didn't. And I know Siwoo can make you nervous. He makes you scared. He gives you a funny feeling inside your stomach. Kind of like, you feel like maybe you're drunk if you take them. Like you've drank too much wine and you shouldn't be taking them. But I think you should take them this week, okay? I think it's a Siwoo week. I think that he's going to make you scared, but that's okay. He's looking to be under 10% owned. I love that about him. I think this is a good course fit for him. He's been in pretty decent form. He's got a T2 recently at the Wyndham Championship. And as long as he can just kind of keep his heart into it, he doesn't pull the Siwoo go home thing after round 2 or whatever, late in round 1. If he just has his heart into it, he's having a good time in Napa. He's feeling good. He's feeling comfortable, feeling happy. I think he can have a good week. You look at the stats, top 20 in driving accuracy, checks the box in par 5 scoring. You got to be aggressive on these par 5s this week. If anything about Siwoo is true, he's an aggressive player, okay? We know that about Siwoo. He is definitely aggressive. I think you got to be aggressive on these par 5s and score on them. I love that about him. And he also checks the box in birdie or better percentage. So not just par 5s, in general, makes a lot of birdies. I love that about Siwoo Kim. I'm going to give him 93 points, okay? 93 points for Siwoo Kim. Now, DB always gets mad at me for looking at my phone, but I got to look at my phone because I have some tasting notes on this Obsidian Ridge. It's very good. Let me tell you what I wrote here, okay? So when you first taste it, your nose, and you smell it, not just taste, you smell. Your nose is teased with coffee nibs, blueberries, and black pepper. But then a shy side emerges. You're shy. And after time in the glass, the blackberries become more pronounced, and there's a little gentle floral lift in there. And these flavors are carried on with silky tannins. They speak clearly, but they don't shout. They speak clearly, but they don't shout. The 2017, which is what this is a riper, fuller, but quieter vintage. Quieter vintage of Cabernet. And that, my friends, is how you taste wine and you feel it, because you're shy at first. But you don't want to shout. You don't want things shouting at you. You want those coffee nibs. You want those nibs to just touch your palate, and you want to feel those. So anyway, that's what I wrote, possibly, about Obsidian Ridge. So good luck to everybody this week. Can't wait to watch the tournament. And I know you're excited. Look, I mean, what else is going on? It's not like there's football or anything like that. No, we got golf. We got Napa Valley. We got all these things. So that is all I got. Hope to see you again next week. And good luck to all of you for your lineups, your bets, everything else out there.